Another British produced film.
Indeed.
One of the probably the most famous movie, actually definitely the most famous movie from this year, I think.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Is The Third Man, featuring Orson Welles.
Indeed. Not directed by Orson Welles.
Not directed by, although apparently there was a bit of back and forth about whether he did like a Toby Hooper poltergeist kind of situation.
I don't know if I've ever heard that.
I think he put some fuel on the fire and then was like, nah, I didn't actually do it.
That sounds like something he would do, that he would be like, I actually directed that. And people would be like, sure, I guess.
But yeah, this movie, do you want to sum it up?
Sure. This movie's about Joseph Cotton, classic Orson Welles co-star. What is his character's name?
His character is Holly Martins.
So Holly shows up in post-war Vienna, and we get this nice sort of opening montage with narration of like kind of setting the scene of what post-war Vienna is like
the seediness.
The seediness, but it's how it's like split into different districts. There's like the Soviet district, the British district, the American district, and the French district, I believe. No Austrian district. I guess that's all Austrian. And yeah, there's like a lot of black marketeers and sort of like, shady goings on. And Holly Martins is a sort of pulp Western writer of kind of cheap Western stories. And who's currently broke. And so his old friend, Harry Lime, is in Vienna and is offering him a job. So he's like, sure, I'll go. And immediately he gets to Vienna and his friend Harry Lime is dead. Everyone's be like, he died. He got hit by a car. He's gone. And he's like, that's weird. Okay. And so it's like...
Yeah, he's expecting to crash on his couch, and then he ends up at his funeral.
Right, yeah, exactly. And then, like, he like gets kind of into a bit of an altercation with, like, the British kind of head of police. But he can't shake the idea that, like, this is all very weird and suspicious. Like, no one's stories are lining up. He keeps asking people about what happened, and, like, there's always a little bit... Something's always a little bit off. Something doesn't line up. And so he starts... investigating. He like stays in Vienna under the pretense of kind of like talking to this like literary group, but he's actually doing detective work the whole time. He's hitting the pavement trying to find out what happened, who murdered his friend, or was his friend even murdered at all? Which then, of course, we find out he wasn't. His friend is Orson Welles, and he's faked his own death because he is a racketeer who is running a diluted penicillin racket, which is causing lots of child injury or child death and illness. They've got sort of a battle of morals going on, and then the police ask him to help catch his friend Harry Lime, which he does, and we get a nice cool chase through the sewers.
Yeah,
and then he ends up being the guy to shoot Harry, which is a real kind of like turning point for his character of like he's not a detective. He's just like this penniless writer who shows up in Vienna, and like by the end of the movie he's kind of become more of a like hardened, cynical noir character almost.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, and like the course of the movie too, it starts with sort of defending the honor of his friend.
Right. Everyone's like, oh man, like this guy was a real piece of shit. And he's like, what are you talking about? Like, that's my friend you're talking about. Asshole. Yeah. Like, what do you like? And
along with the stories not lining up, like he doesn't want to accept all of these people saying like, don't even go down this road. Like he was involved in the post-war Vienna underworld. He sucks. Just let him be dead. And there's like that doesn't add up. That is the thing that doesn't add up, is everyone's telling me that my friend is a bad guy.
Right.
And so that's like sort of the genesis of the investigations. And yeah, eventually the police kind of lay out like, here is all of the proof that we have that your friend is an awful person.
Right. And then this is like a classic example of like one of the lead characters kind of like, I don't know. Is Orson Welles' first build? I think he is.
I think so.
He doesn't actually show up in the movie at all until like at least halfway through.
Yeah, if not more, like, yeah, 3/4 or 2/3, yeah, something like that. Yeah.
And then like, of course, as soon as he shows up, he's like the most sinister man who has ever lived. He's like so villainous.
Yeah.
Immediately.
It's wild. Yeah, he's like laughing at the petty morality of a normal person.
Right. Yeah, and he has one of the most famous parts of this movie is when Holly and Harry go up in an empty Ferris wheel, and Harry has this whole kind of monologue almost of just kind of laying out his kind of like moral depravity, but in like a very sort of like,
yeah, it all makes sense,
right? He's presenting it as like just like a very reasonable kind of like outlook on life.
Yeah, and it's an upsetting scene. It's like he's so scary in that scene.
Yeah, but it's like he's scary in that it is like you can tell that he is like, this does not bother him. Like he has fully embraced his immorality.
Yeah, it's like a nihilism, I guess. Mm-hmm. It's this nihilism taken to this kind of self boosting himself up or like, get ahead from any by any circumstances kind of thing. In particular, yeah, what he says is they're at the top of the Ferris wheel, they're looking down, and he's like, look at all these people below us. They're dots. They're little dots. They're nothing because we're looking down at them from far above. What difference would it make to you if one of these dots was gone? If I offered you $20,000,
right,
and said that would make one of the dots disappear?
He's pitching the movie The Box from 2008.
Oh, I don't know about that. Like, would you really have a problem if one of those dots disappeared
and you got $20,000?
Yeah, would you turn it away? I don't think you would. I wouldn't. And so sometimes that's a disease-stricken child, but who cares? You know?
And I think the other thing that makes it scary is because it's Orson Welles. He's very charming about it. Like he is scary, but he's not like creepy, if that makes sense.
He's menacing his friend in a way, but he's being friendly.
Yeah.
He's like almost kind of, he believes in himself so much that he thinks that he can get someone else on board with his like depraved worldview.
Well, also because they're like childhood friends. So it's like they have a long history together. And yeah, Orson Welles, I do think is very good at that kind of like, like charming menace, which he's done in a couple other movies. There's like The Stranger from I think like 46, which we didn't watch for the show, but he's very good in that too. I mean, this is one of his more famous roles, I would think. Yeah. Maybe it's up there. I feel like Harry Lime.
It's Hannibal Lecter, I guess.
Yeah, kind of. I feel like the name Harry Lime pops up in other things. I meant to look this up before we recorded, but it's like that name was referenced in other things. Yeah, I feel like this movie has like we've been watching a bunch of noir movies, especially the kind of like very like kind of detective, kind of procedural focused ones.
Yeah.
And there is that kind of like dark, somewhat nihilistic worldview that kind of pervades noir movies. But I think this one nails it in a way that not a lot of others do.
Yeah. It's like,
and it's not necessarily the movie itself is nihilistic, but it's like, there's just this like undercurrent of real kind of like post World War II cynical nihilism that is like, you can feel like the character of Holly is like fighting against, even though he's like, he doesn't have much in the way of like alternatives, but it's like he's kind of still pushing back against this just like overwhelming sense of just like everyone is basically telling him just to like kind of like give up and like give in to just like, this is how the world is.
Yeah.
In different ways, where like Harry is like give in to all of your like basest worst impulses. And then like also the police are just like very kind of like are not altruistic at all. They're like very much just like, this is how it works. We gotta like make deals. They're very like they're not like presented as like heroic characters at all. Mm-hmm. The head of the police, who's the guy from Brief Encounter, who was such a like warm character in that, and he was playing like the coldest, most like pragmatic police captain guy.
Yeah,
where he's just like, if I gotta hand you over to the Russians, we're gonna send you to Gulag. That's what I gotta do. Like, but it is like he is trying to like save children, that is his end goal.
Right.
But it's like he's doing it in like in this.
Everyone's
just, like,
hands are dirty in this movie.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's like the American noirs that we've been watching, or just the other noirs, they just kind of have like a, I don't know, like a kind of dour outlook, I guess, or just a mood. I mean, I think this kind of dehumanization that Lime does is meant to evoke Nazism. And so it's got this kind of, you know, Nazi dehumanizing evil combined with this post-war destitution. There's so much rubble in this movie.
A lot of rubble. And like it's always very kind of, at least up until maybe towards the end of the movie, it's like it feels, it's like just casual piles of rubble. Like they're not focusing on it. It's just like walking down the street and like one building is destroyed.
Yeah, but like just spending the entire movie in that environment and just seeing, it's like Bicycle Thieves, another kind of thing that's set post-war, and just how rough it is being in like rebuilding life in a bombed out place.
Which is a thing that I always find so compelling about movies, either about World War II or sort of adjacent to it, that are made in Europe or about Europe, is like how different they feel to US ones. Which I think I've brought this up on the show before. Is like, right, like post-war US is like, hey, the you know, booming economy, like, hey, all our jobs are back.
Yeah.
And in Europe, it's like, our whole town is gone.
Yeah, there's a lot more and it's cynicism
like,
that's coming from Europe.
It's a very different kind of like reality to like return to.
It's just the kind of geo-privilege of America, you know?
Yeah. But that is something I find really compelling and kind of like striking about this movie, is its depiction of like post-war Vienna.
Yeah, and maybe you want to read about what the conditions
and also
like.
the way that like all these other countries are like carving up Vienna for themselves.
Yeah,
and like none of them speak the same language, so there's all this miscommunication going on there, and there's all these kind of like backdoor deals being made between the different countries to kind of like, because there's we haven't even mentioned Anna, who is Harry Lime's girlfriend, who thinks he's dead for most of the movie.
And thinks he's innocent for most of the movie, too.
Yeah. I mean, for pretty much the entire movie.
Up until Joseph Cotten also finds out that he is not.
She is Czech, but is pretending to be Austrian, I believe, and has forged papers that she got from Harry that then the police confiscate. They're like, these are fake, we can tell. And then they use that to sort of like
apply pressure.
Yeah, they're like, we're gonna give your fake passport to the Soviets, and they're gonna take you somewhere, we don't know where. Yeah. Or you can rat on Harry Lime.
Yeah, and initially she's working with Holly to make sure, like, to try and get around the police and figure out a way, like, what happened. The third man of the title is like this kind of big discrepancy in a lot of the stories, which is he got hit by a car. Did he die instantly, or did he have time to say some stuff before he died? He was being carried away, but was it by 2 people or was it by 3 people? And he heard an account of...
Well, he talks to 2 of the people, but then other people say that a third man was carrying a body, and they're like, no one knows who that guy is.
Yeah.
It was him!
It was him carrying, quote, his own body, in air quotes. Yeah. Which just ended up being a guy that he killed. But yeah, like they're... I mean... Yeah, initially you're kind of seeing the police as these completely uncaring, like, kind of borderline villainous people who are not listening to reason when he tells him that his friend is a good guy.
Right. It almost seems like they might be involved in a cover-up.
Yeah, yeah. Or if not like a cover-up intentionally, then a cover-up of, like, who cares? Like, whatever, he's dead, whatever, it doesn't matter. It kind of becomes... like, this movie really follows, the growing kind of darkness and corruption, in a way, of these characters who are kind of, like, losing their naivete, right?
Right.
Like they want to believe in a better version of the world, and the worst version of the world comes slamming in to make them have to confront it, up to the point of kind of agreeing to do this sting to take it. Like, he realizes his friend is so dangerous that like they should actually participate.
After he has the conversation with him on the Ferris wheel, he's like, oh yeah, he actually is. He's not a good guy.
Yeah. and ending with him pulling the trigger to kill him.
Yeah.
Which I think, it feels
at
like
that point he's almost kind of a mercy, because he's already been shot too, and it's like he's like, he can't even escape at that point. It's just like, just end it. The last bit of that kind of like that scene at the Ferris wheel, Orson Welles has his it's not even a big part of the speech, but it's like the capper on it is this thing of like, in Italy they had, war, pestilence, all these things, and it gave us the Renaissance and Leonardo da Vinci and the Enlightenment, all these things. And then it's like, and then what country was it?
Switzerland.
In Switzerland, they had brotherly love and peace for hundreds of years. And what did that produce? The cuckoo clock.
Nice Orson Welles cuckoo clock.
Oh, thank you. Which, I mean, I wonder if this was like a direct reference back to this movie. It really reminded me of Zorg's speech in The Fifth Element.
Oh, yeah.
Where he's like, oh no, by
chaos.
Yeah, by creating a little destruction, I'm actually encouraging life. It's very, very similar type of villain speech.
Right.
But I think this one really kind of like it holds up as like a really solid, because it's not overdone. It's like he's not going that, because you really get the sense,
it's not super villain.
Right.
It's real bad guy who has let go of his morals. This is just
what actual people who have like corrupted morals talk like.
Yeah. Another kind of famous scene outside of the Ferris wheel is the last shot, which is incredible. And
I mean, almost every shot in this movie is incredible. Like, I feel like we gotta have maybe a whole sidebar just about how this movie looks.
Yes, but so the last
starting with the last shot,
is Anna, his girlfriend. She has kind of acknowledged that he's not good, but I think she still has feelings for him. She has not been able to fully just say, this person is not the person that I once knew, right? And participate in taking him down.
Well, because they the whole time, right? Like, Holly and Anna have been getting closer and closer. They get the sense that Holly is falling for Anna, and maybe vice versa. Mm-hmm. Once Anna finds out that Harry's not dead, she's like, never mind. Like, I'm in love with Harry. I'm all in on this guy. Yeah. Even pretty much after she finds out that he's also been selling, diluted penicillin? Yeah. To children's hospitals. Like, that's sort of like, they're kind of on parallel tracks for most of the movie. And then that is kind of like the breaking point where like Anna refuses to turn against Harry, but Holly does.
And when that ends in Harry dying, we have a kind of mirror of the beginning where they're attending not a fake funeral for him, but a real funeral for him. Yeah. And there's a scene where Holly is kind of is gonna go and leave the country with the cops, but he decides to sort of give it a try with Anna. And there's this really great kind of shot looking down the road. They're leaving the funeral, and he's standing on the side waiting to kind of have some kind of debrief with her about the funeral and everything that happened, and hoping to kind of like patch it up, and maybe she would understand why he participated in all of this. And he's waiting for her, and like this scene just hangs for a really long time while she's walking closer and closer, and then she just walks right by without looking at him, and that's the end. And it's so loaded with feeling. It's really good.
It's a really great like noir ending, and then it is like unhappy, but it's not. I don't end this movie feeling bummed out. I end this movie feeling like, hell yeah, this movie rules.
Yeah. It's like, I don't know, is wistful the word? Like, there's like a kind of like,
yeah, I don't know, because even like Joseph Cotton's body language, where he like when she walks by, he's kind of just like, okay, I guess that didn't work.
It's like, yeah, I guess.
It's like, fair enough.
I did shoot the love of your life.
Yeah. But yeah, this whole movie looks incredible. Goes really hard on Dutch angles.
Maybe too hard.
I don't know. I like them.
I feel like there are so many Dutch angles in this movie. It feels a little unmotivated at times. Like,
yeah, but it's the whole world's off kilter, man.
I mean, I guess. Yeah.
Nothing's straight up and down. It's all crazy.
I mean, I guess I'm on board with that reading, but it does. There were a lot of shots where I was like, why does this have to be sideways?
Right. Yeah. It is approaching like Batman and Robin levels of Dutch angles, where it is like every shot seems like a Dutch angle, and then just like some of the best shadows in any movie.
Yeah,
just like the
noir-y vibes, especially as they're going through the sewers.
Oh yeah, this movie has a extended sewer chase, which so good. I don't know if I assume a lot of this movie was shot in Vienna on location. It certainly looks like it was. I don't know if that's actually what the sewers in Vienna look like. I'm kind of assuming that they did shoot it there, because like I don't know. It doesn't look like a set, really. It is, but it's like they're so atmospheric, and there's so much like variation too of like different levels and like tunnels and like waterfalls and things, railings, and yeah, the whole kind of like big third act chase through the sewers where there's just like flashlights being shined down tunnels and things, and it's like, oh yes.
It starts in
there's
one
smoke.
of the most like bombed out ruinous areas, and then it descends further into the sewers.
It's great. There's some really great kind of flourishes, I think, too. There's like right before we get the first big reveal of Orson Welles, it's like in an apartment where Holly and Anna are, and the camera kind of like pushes through some potted plants on the windowsill. That I think is like at like 2 or 3 shots combined together. That is, maybe a little unmotivated, but it's really cool, so I don't mind.
Yeah.
Just some nice like subtle kind of filmmaking things, like early on Anna has a cat, and Holly's trying to like play with the cat, and the cat isn't having it. And he's like, oh, that cat only likes Harry. And then later that cat gets out and runs to a pair of shoes and like nuzzles up against them, and you're like, oh, could it be?
Yeah, that was great. That's like a little pre-reveal.
Right, but that's like just great, like set up, payoff.
So
they don't have to say anything. Good. It's just like, boom, it's
incredibly well done. Yeah. The narrative aspects of this movie are like really tight, like really, really well done. Like, especially, you think about this in terms of the characteristic of a number of noir movies, in particular, The Big Sleep, is just how like ridiculous and confusing they are. And the thing that I kind of like about this movie, I get lost with detective movies a lot of the time. Yeah. But the thing that I like about this movie is like one thing is happening at a time,
Right, yeah.
And so like you can really follow along, and it's like an amateur who is solving this mystery. Yeah. And so you can follow along with the mystery a lot more easily than you could certainly in The Big Sleep. Right?
Yeah. It is a very plotty movie, but it is, I think, having this sort of much more of a kind of everyman character that we're following, who like doesn't really know what he's doing. He is kind of like stumbling through stuff. Makes it a bit more. You don't get quite as overwhelmed with the like, what, how many characters are in this thing?
Yeah,
there is still a degree of like there are still a lot of characters in this movie, but I found it a lot easier to keep.
But people end up getting bumped off as soon as they're not relevant anymore.
There you go. Also, just like speaking of shadows, the big reveal of Orson Welles is also. The actual reveal of him is really good, where he's standing in the dark, and then someone turns on a light on the turns on a light inside an apartment across the street, and that lights up the doorway.
Oh, it's so good. It's like the dramatic moment of that is incredible.
Yeah. There's a really great shot I love towards the end when as Harry is trying to escape. As far as he gets, he's been shot already. He's like climbing up a staircase out of the sewers, and with the last of his strength, he's putting his fingers like through the sewer grate.
Yeah,
and there's a shot of like above ground, like at street level, of just like the fingers poking through the grating, that is like
his last chance at freedom.
Yeah, it's so good. And then we haven't talked about the score at all either, which is
weird,
very notable, very weird.
It's zither. It's all zither.
Yeah, which I don't know. Zither. I don't think I knew what a zither was before I saw this movie.
No, at first when I first got.
How would you describe zither?
I know that you were not a Nickelodeon child, but what I will say is that a lot of these scenes that otherwise seemed to be going for something serious had this kind of SpongeBob chase scene sort of vibe to them. Tiny Tim music. Just
it's like really jaunty, upbeat string music. It's like plucked string music.
I mean, it's a choice. I think it contrasts a lot with the darkness in the movie.
Yeah.
I think sometimes it feels like what are you doing, movie?
I think it's like a really bold choice that I think works.
I think in many ways it works. I think it doesn't work well enough that it didn't make me go, should you maybe have not done this, you know?
Right, as opposed to the sort of like, you know, spooky jazz score that is normally associated with noir movies. Is zither a Austrian instrument?
I think that the director, I believe, had been kind of scouting in Austria and heard someone playing zither, and that was sort of what inspired that.
But I think the upbeat, weird music does something with the tone of this movie that feels really unique and feels very much like, I can't think of another like weird noir movie with zither score, because like it would just be doing this again.
Yeah,
it does something that is hard to kind of quantify.
Yeah, it's I remember the opening titles are over. It's like a shot over playing zither strings, and I originally wrote cool guitar string intro, and then I was like, there's like way too many strings on that to be a guitar.
I think the zither score kind of plays into the undercurrent of humor in this movie a bit too, which I feel like the way we've been describing it, this movie sounds very dark, which it is. But there's lots of really great moments of levity in it.
It's
too.
Fun. It's a fun movie.
It is fun. There's a couple I want to highlight. One of which is when they're the British police are trying to like really nail down like, this is Harry Lime's like evil schemes. This is why we're after him. This is like why he's such a bad dude. And they bring out a slide projector to show evidence.
Yeah.
And the first slide that comes up is like a rhino, I think. And like the sort of like lieutenant cop, not the lead guy, but he's like, oh, blast! I've got the wrong slide in the projector, and he's got to like fix it. And like that's like a thing like that's not a plot thing like that. Never
comic
comes
relief,
back. Right? But it's like such a. It's not really a joke. It's just like a real thing that might happen.
Yeah.
Of like, kind of just taking some of the weight out of this scene.
But it also like draws a,
because it is a very weighty scene.
Because it goes from silly to like horrifying.
Right
afterward.
Right. But it's sort of like giving you a laugh right before we're like laying on like some of the most horrible stuff we're gonna tell you in this whole movie.
Yeah.
There's also like when they're like waiting like for the sting to catch Harry, like he's supposed to meet Holly at like a coffee shop, and the police are waiting outside, and then just a balloon salesman comes up to the police and is like, balloons, and they're like, get out of here, go away. Which is again like a thing that's like, that's just a thing that could happen in that situation.
Yeah.
That makes it funny, that I appreciate. Good movie. I don't know, any other anything else to say about it?
No. I guess I think at some point Roger Ebert might have said that this is his favorite movie of all time or something like that. I feel like that's how it first got on my radar, was that Roger Ebert heaps a lot of praise on this
I guess
movie.
Another thing I should probably say is that during my youth, my early teenage years, when I realized that film noir was a thing I liked, and I like started watching old noir movies. Mm-hmm. This was was always at the top of like a lot of lists of like best noir movies. It was like Maltese Falcon, Big Sleep, The Third Man. And so it was one of the first ones I sought out and watched.
Have you seen this before?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
When I was like 13 or 14 probably. And I did not like it that much the first time I saw it. I think I was very much just, I was too young. I was just like, I don't understand this movie.
Give me the detective
I was
vibes.
like, the sewer chase is great, but yeah, I wanted more just sort of like 40s lingo and, you know, more of the kind of like, I guess, cliched or kind of classical stuff. But then revisiting it recently, I'm just like, oh, this is so good.